Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, and today's video is called The Top 5 Reasons That Vonage Business is a Great Phone System for Your Small Business. So again, this one is called The Top 5 Reasons That a Vonage Business Phone System is Perfect for Small Businesses. We're going to jump straight into this. For those of you who know, you know that even though I represent all of the hosted voice over IP phone system service providers in the United States, we have worked with Vonage for quite some time. Even here in my office, I've got free phones that they've sent me over the years. I've got shirts like the one you see me wearing. I've got coffee mugs and other things like USB sticks and so on and so forth. It's no secret that we have a very good relationship with Vonage and that we have helped many, many customers US nationwide switch to Vonage or get new phone service for their business with Vonage. So if you're watching this video and you're thinking, is Vonage a good choice? Should I make the switch? How do I get pricing? All of that. We're going to cover all that in this video. This video is for you. So again, let's jump right into the top 5 reasons that Vonage Business is perfect phone system for the average small business. Number 1, Vonage Business is a trusted partner with extensive cloud communications experience and proven solutions. Now, for those of you who may or may not know, is that Vonage Business is, we wouldn't really call them new, but before Vonage Business, it was just called Vonage. Everybody knows what Vonage is. Vonage is a household name, just like Walmart or Target or Food Lion or Kroger or something like that. That is basically kind of the name that Vonage has kind of made for themselves. Vonage, in the residential sense, before Vonage Business came along, was one of the main players that in the beginning offered, the residential voice over IP service that was very inexpensive for people to have an internet-based phone to call overseas for free or at low long distance rates. Or for a really popular example, when Vonage first hit the scene, they were really popular within like the military sector where, individuals who were serving in the military that wanted to have a very inexpensive way to set up a basic IP phone in their barrack or whatever from Japan or, wherever it may be away from home, could call family and have family call them on local number without incurring a lot of cost. That's the Vonage that the average person knows from back in the day. My point is, Vonage has been around since almost the dawn of when voice over IP crossed into that arena, which I want to say was back in the early 2000s, where it wasn't just something that was for very established businesses that had a lot of money and things like that. When voice over IP came out of that mode where it was only for, people that had a lot of money that could afford it, when it crossed into that area where it was available for all, regardless of budget and regardless of business type or size, Vonage was one of the first players in the arena. What does that mean? They've had a long time to mature, not only on the residential side, but of course, subject of this video, the business side. So you can rest assured that looking at a Vonage Business phone system, you are dealing with one of the oldest standing players in the market, which means not only have they had time to work through things like bugs and common issues that people used to complain about with voice over IP back in its infancy, when it first came out, they are also typically, because they've been around for a long time and they have the funds to be able to adopt new ideas and technology, they tend to be kind of at the forefront of new features, new alliances with companies like Amazon and things like that, and new phone carriers that come out and whatnot. So that's one thing, is the short of it is they've been around for a while. Number 2, only cloud communications provider with integrated stack, wholly owned and rapid innovation capability. Now, I already covered some of the innovation part of it. And again, they really do have seniority in the market. They're one of the big boys, the bigger players that's been around for a long time. It means, A, they tend to have deeper pockets than some of the other carriers, which means they have more money for R&D, for research and development, more money to be able to go and make partnerships with companies on newer technologies, such as Amazon Chime and things like that, and so on and so forth, which is fully integrated into the Vonage Business phone system now, and whatnot. So that, there's something to be said for that. The wholly owned IP, because they've been around for so long, what you have to understand is a lot of these other providers out here, I won't go into which ones do and don't, They don't necessarily have their own platform. Some of the providers, because they're a smaller player, even though they've got really fresh ideas, competitive pricing, they simply are a smaller player, and some of them don't have their own backbone. So they're leasing a backbone from, say, another provider. One of the best examples I could give you guys about this in the non-VoIP world would be in the cellular world. We all know that Sprint, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile are the four major carriers. But then you've got some of these other carriers that you hear about, like Metro Wireless and things like that. Those companies, even though they've got money in the bank, they're smaller companies and they don't have antennas and infrastructure. So all they're doing is they're leasing towers in our cellular example here. And then you're basically paying them to basically use their customer service and branded product that might be Sprint towers or Verizon towers, even though you're paying your bill to Metro PCS or Metro Wireless or something like that. Vonage is Vonage. Vonage has been around for quite some time. They have their own backbone, their own system. So when you work with Vonage, you're dealing with Vonage. When you have problems with Vonage or you need to contact Vonage, Vonage Business is not having to go to another provider and say, hey, this person is having an issue with this and that. Can you do this? You are dealing directly with the provider. You're dealing directly with the source of your service, which is good because it means problems get solved and get solved in a timely manner. So, number 3, they boast that they have 99.999% reliability, uptime with their network. Now, for those of you who don't know, even though we represent all of the carriers and we've even had demos in our office from, and phones sent to us from other carriers, because our channel has gotten so popular to test their product and talk about it, we personally here at Rich Technology Group use Vonage Business. We have had Vonage Business now for, I want to say, close to 7 years. And I can honestly say that the system has only ever went down for me twice. One time, I will admit, it did go down for a couple of hours. That was because they were actually attacked. It was a DOS attack, denial of service attack. For those of you who may not remember, you probably remember when the internet was attacked about 1.5 years, 2 years ago at the time of this video. And Amazon was down, Facebook was down, Twitter was down, all the major stuff was down. That is the only time in the 7 years that I have been a Vonage Business customer for our corporation that we've seen them get a major attack. Even then, while everybody else was down, even Facebook was down and Amazon was down. Vonage was only down, if I recall, for approximately about 1 hour and 30 minutes, 1 hour and 45 minutes, something like that, which is pretty good when everybody on the whole internet is being attacked. So you can rest assured that you will have pretty good uptime if you run an operation where uptime is of the utmost importance. Now, let's be real. No carrier can or will ever guarantee 100% uptime because that's just the nature of the beast. But going back to Vonage Business has been around for quite some time and they're a big player in the market. You can rest assured that if you're looking for the highest uptime possible in the market, you can get that with Vonage Business because back to what we talked about in point number 1 and 2, A, they're one of the big players in the market that's had time to mature, and B, they own their own system. And C, they have deep enough pockets to be able to have people on staff that can handle things like, intrusion detection and security measurements and disaster recovery and things like that. So point number 4, and this is actually one of my greatest points of why I think Vonage Business is great for small businesses, especially small businesses that are watching this that don't have an IT department or don't really have, I will say, very reliable IT support. Number 4, rapid implementation, and you can be up and running in days. This is actually quite literal. For those of you who don't know, I have quite literally helped hundreds of people get Vonage Business service across the United States. And of course, we use Vonage Business in our office, so I'm very familiar with the platform. Vonage's system is virtually plug and play. You get pricing, you accept a quote, the phones are shipped to you ready to go. As long as you have valid internet and a way to plug the phones into the internet through a Cat5 cable, the same way you'd plug a regular desktop computer or something into the internet with a wire, your phone is up and running. You're up and running and ready to go. Now, let's say that you have a complex dial plan or something like that, and you need for somebody to set up some stuff and you're not sure how to use the back-end system. Now, Vonage's backend system, or what they call the Vonage Business Portal, is very, very user intuitive. More and more, I'm seeing more and more clients that switch to Vonage or that approach us looking to go with Vonage Business, setting it up on their own. And even when I reach out to them to say, hey, do I need to call high-level tech support, or would you like me to help you set this up? Oh, no, Prince, we've got it covered. It's good to go. Not only are the phones pre-configured before they're shipped to you, the system itself is plug and play. Even then, I know some of you watching are probably thinking, I don't even know how to work my cell phone, let alone configure a phone system. Not a problem. Vonage has customer service and support that upon calling them, you can literally tell them when somebody calls, I want my phone to ring like this. I want the call flow to work like this. If nobody answers, I want it to work like this, and so on and so forth. No matter how big the company, whether you've got 2 phones or 200, somebody at Vonage Business will configure that for you at no cost, remotely, and test it with you and make sure that it's set up the way you and your staff need it to work. So that's a big one. There's one other thing I want to throw out there while we're on rapid implementation and getting up and running in days. Vonage offers a thing that we call the red carpet service. Now, for those of you who are watching, no matter how many phones that you have, whether you have 1 phone or 2 phones, Vonage's customer service, which is excellent, is always there to set up and configure your phone system. Not only are they there to set up and configure your phone system, but they have a separate department called Install Team, which is for anybody whose bill before taxes is $200 or more at the time of this video. Now, $200 or more, to give you an idea, is approximately maybe somewhere between I want to say 5 or 6 extensions, but even then, depending on what pricing structure and what deal you got, especially if I get the deal for you, you may not even be over $200 a month for the service, everything all included at 6 or 7 phones. So realistically, we'll say somewhere between 6 to 8 phones, depending on the features and frills, above and beyond the basic features that you've chosen, you should be at about $200 a month. At $200 a month, when you accept your quote, Install Team will contact you directly and say, hey, for account number such and such, we need to find out from you, how do you want calls to be handled? How do you want it to ring when people call in? How do you want your call flow done internally or at your multiple locations or whatever you have? And then these guys set it all up for you. They set it up, they test it with you, everything. Even better, if you have phone numbers that need to be ported from your previous carrier, they will ask you for specific information. Who's your previous carrier? Can you send us a copy of the bill? What's the first and last name of the person named on the account? What's your company EIN, federal identification number? And then they will literally handle your porting. They will handle the porting process. They will monitor the port if there's any problems, and they will notify you when the port is done and tell you, hey, your port is complete, your number is working, now you can cancel service with the previous provider. So in short, point number 4, plug and play setup and installation, no technical expertise needed. We have people that call us with as high as 2 to 200 phones, and we literally don't have to help them set up anything. Vonage helps them do that. So if you're looking for somebody that will give you kind of that hands-off service, set up your phone system without any hassles, Vonage is the one. I have seen it for dozens and dozens of installs. Point number 5, future-proof solution to meet your current and future needs. Now, there's 2 things that I want to point out in this one, because I know you guys are thinking, well, what about long-term? First of all, there's 3 points here we're going to cover. First of all, Vonage Business is Vonage Business. They're not going anywhere. They're one of the original players in the voice over IP market, and here we are well over a decade later. They're still one of the largest players in the voice over IP market. And there's many, many players in the voice over IP market now. And Vonage still remains number 1, not only by, I believe, account customer, how many accounts they actually hold, but also by dollar figure as well, as far as annual revenue and things like that. They still remain number 1. So talking to Futureproof Solution that meets your needs now and in the future, they're not going anywhere. They're really not going to go anywhere. So you can count on them to be there from the start of your business to whenever you decide to retire or sell it off or whatever it may be. Another thing I want to throw out there is long-term customer service. Vonage Business, the customer service that we spoke about as far as setting up things and things like that, that is not just when you set up. You have customer service and access to their support for free at no additional cost for the life of the account. It could be for technical issues. It could be for something as simple as you're out and about and you just need to have them change a feature, but you don't feel like going into the portal or you don't have access to the portal. You can call their support and say, hey, I'm, John Hancock with Vonage Business account number such and such. Can you change this and that on this because I totally forgot to do it and I've got to go on vacation? Okay, Mr. Hancock, it's done. Can we call you to test it? Everything's working. Have a nice vacation. They offer support for the life of the product. It doesn't cost you anything, and it is excellent support. In many, many of my other videos, I brag about Vonage's customer service because they quite literally have award-winning customer service and support. The final point on number 5, a future-proof solution that meets your current and future needs. As I already stated in the earlier points, because Vonage is one of the largest players in the market, and because they've got money for research and development, when new things come out or when you hear about new concepts in the VoIP or the phone system world, you can rest assured that Vonage is going to be one of the first, if not the first, service providers to adopt that feature and start beta testing it and then start offering it to their existing and new customers. So again, this concludes the video, the top 5 reasons that Vonage Business is the perfect phone system solution for small businesses. If you're watching this video and you're thinking about getting Vonage Business, call me. For those of you who don't know, I work very closely with Vonage Business as well as the other carriers, and I can tell you, you will get a better price going through me, and Vonage will even tell you this. You will actually get a better price for your Vonage Business phone system and solution going through me than going direct. I am paid by the service providers. My service is free and you don't have to pay me. So you have nothing to lose from contacting me and letting me do the hard work of quote gathering, price negotiation, and contract terms negotiation, and trying to get you free business phones because Vonage is one of the best players in the market that offers free phones to their clients. So if you're interested in a Vonage Business phone system solution for your business, give me a call. I'd love to help you out. Again, Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, your go-to guy for the best deals on business phone and internet service in the United States. Please subscribe to our channel, and I'll talk to you guys again in the next video.